Okay, good evening, everyone. If I'm correct, this is Shiur 5b, and we're just continuing in Siman Pei Zayin. Just to start, I wanted to talk about define two inyanim, what we call nat bar nat. That's nun tes bar nun tes. Okay, it's nosin tam bar nosin tan. It's like a second level of giving tam. So the save the laws of kashrus, right? Quotes on page 396. When food is cooked in a pot, it infuses its taste into the pot. When another food is subsequently cooked in that pot, even after it's been scrubbed clean, right? The original taste is transmitted to the second food. That's what called is balua. Balua is Hebrew for that which is absorbed in the pot now comes out. This secondary transfer, the food to pot to food. You're cooking a food in a pot. Now it's in the pot, and later on you cook another food in that pot. It's known as nosing tam bar nosing tan. Literally means infused taste, the son of infused taste, or what we say not bar not in short. Presumably the taste is weakened as it travels from matter to matter. So when forbidden foods impart their taste, no distinction is made between primary and secondary transfer, and that's called not bar not the isura, meaning we don't use this not bar not to say that the taste that the second cooking comes into this food of this that you cooked at the second stage. Again, you cook, let's say, isser in a pot. Well, I'll give you an example in a minute. Okay. Thus, if non-kosher food is cooked in a pot, the pot is treif. Any kosher food subsequently cooked in that pot becomes treif as well. If this food is then cooked in another pot, so you take food that has infused in it treif taste from the walls of this pot number one, and you take that food, it was kosher originally, but now it was cooked in a pot that's treif, and you take it and cook it in something else, the taste is passed on to the second pot, which is now also becomes treif, and we'll see this in Siman Tzadi Vav. However, when taste of permitted food is infused in the vessel and subsequently imparted into other food, the secondary taste is no longer capable of producing a prohibited entity, which is called not bar not dehetera. And there are some qualifications that relate to that, and we'll get to that as we go. All right? I want to show you what not bar not, how it plays out in what we're discussing here. So let's say, in our case, if one, this is from, you'll see this in Halacha Yud and Yud Aleph. Okay? Halacha Yud about salting the milk in the keva. If one salts the chalav keva, that is the milk that's found inside the fourth stomach of the animal. So it's not the milk that was produced by the animal, but it's milk that the animal consumed by suckling. Right? And you salt that milk together with the stomach, or you leave the milk in the stomach for 24 hours, which is kavush. So nimlach is salted, or kavush are types of way of quote unquote cooking, but only midrabanan they're also to do that. Are we allowed to add this partially digested milk now to whole milk? In order to answer this question, we have to understand what is exactly not bar not. So this is how we're gonna deal with not bar not. So let's say in our case, vegetables cooked. This is not bar not dehetera. No treif involved. Vegetables are cooked in a meat pot. They have a din of not bar not, no sintar, no sintam. This is because when the meat gets cooked in a pot, the meat taste goes into the walls. Then when you cook the vegetables in the same pot, the taste absorbed in the walls goes into the vegetables. This is known as not bar not dehetera. There's a machlokas between the mechaber and mo if one may lechatchila eat these vegetables with milk. It's machlokas between Sephardim and Ashkenazim as well. Okay, we did mention before there's the other side, not bar not the isura. If you cook milk in a ben yomo meat pot, right? So it's milk, it's mutter, but now it's cooked in a pot that's ben yomo, so therefore there's taste of meat in the pot itself. The first not, nosing tam, is the meat into the pot, and the second nosing tam is from the pot into the milk that's being cooked in now. The milk would become aser midoraisa, because it's bishul going on here, right? Bishul, which is an issa doraisa basar chalav. This would not have the din of not bar not dehetera, since the meat taste went directly from the pot into the milk, right? if you cook, again, vegetables in the meat, right? According to the Mechaber, those vegetables in the meat pot, those vegetables can be cooked with milk because that's not basar v'cholav, because that's not bernat the hetera. You create a not bernat b'isura when you're cooking the milk in a meat pot. So our case doesn't have the din of not bernat the hetera, because when you put chalav keva into the milk, its absorbed meat taste will now go directly into the milk. Therefore, lechatchila, even salted chalav korosh with meat, even if you salted the congealed milk with the meat, which is the or hakeva, the meat wall of the stomach, is also to use as a catalyst to make cheese. Okay, that's what we're going to see. We'll see in the halacha as well. That's not barnat isura as relates to this case. I do also want to mention something called davar hamamid. Davar hamamid is something that causes things to solidify. So also, page 384 from the Laws of Kashrus, a non-kosher food which solidifies or gels the food with which it combines cannot become batel. Meaning it is something of such significance you can't attribute the din of bittul to it. Right? In the opinion of most poskim, this rule is midrabanan. For example, cheese that was curdled with non-kosher rennet may not be eaten, although the amount of rennet used is minimal and its taste is unnoticeable. So you have let's say the or hakeva, the wall of the stomach, and the wall of the stomach has enzymes in it that causes the milk to curdle. But since it's a davar hamaimid, it's not batel. Even if there's no shishim kenegdo, which means the laws of bittul refer to 60 times something, which means it would negate any taste. So there's no taste in this cheese that you created. But since the rennet is the davar or the enzymes in the or hakeva, or the rennet that you put in is a davar hamamid, it's something that causes solidification, bittul does not apply. The effect of the non-kosher rennet on the cheese is noticeable and prevents its bittul. It's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Lamed Hey Amid Aleph. However, davar hamamid applies only to prohibited foods, not foods which, when combined, will produce prohibited food. That is meat and milk. Thus, kosher rennet produced from the stomach lining of a properly slaughtered cow may be used in the cheese-making process and doesn't present any basar v'chalav problem. And that we'll see in halacha yud aleph, how davar hamamid, how it plays out. Okay, I was going to read to you the Rashi on Kuf Tezayin Beis Dira Maskeh V'Harei, which discusses not barnat and davar hamamid. But I'm going to leave that for another time to see if I have time. I just want to make sure I get to these halachas, which we're going to learn now. Mechaber, Ramah, Taz, and Shach in the Mareches HaShulchan, as I presented. That's what we're going to be using. Okay, halacha yud. Cholav animtza bekeva. You have milk now that's in the fourth stomach of the animal. Right, you slaughtered the animal properly, so everything inside is kosher. So what do you do with that milk? Lechatchila ein lanicha bekeva, says Mechaber, it says the Ramah in the parentheses and the smaller lettering. Ad shitztanin hachela b'toch hakeva. So you shouldn't allow the milk to remain there until the milk becomes cold. Avul b'diavad ein lochush. B'diavad, you don't have to worry about this. And let's look at Sifkat and Chavvav in the Shach. He says lechatchila ein lanicho. Hatam mefurash b'itzer v'heter. The reason why you shouldn't leave this milk there for it to cool down inside the or hakeva, inside the keva itself, inside the stomach. The Sefer Itzer v'heter, written about 200 years ago, writes the following: Klal Yud Ches Din Tezvav. Dim yanichu ad shitztan. And if you leave it there until it cools down, yes, or mishum basar v'chalav, there's a basar v'chalav problem. Afilu lo nimnach imo. You didn't put any salt or anything else in it. Kivin the chalav hakeva chorev v'chametz. Since that milk, by definition, is considered sharp, and like chamutz means also the kind of sharp vinegary. Sharei mamidim bo agvinos v'yesh locha sheyaflit v'yavliya. Because the chalav that's in there is used to solidify and make cheese. and the worry is that within the walls of the keva of the stomach, it will that chalav charif will come out and will be absorbed. B'diavad, you could rely on those who say it's only usher if you added salt in there, or kavish meisleis dafka, or you left it there for 24 hours. Without an external either malicha or the external amount of time that it's left there, we're not going to be worried about the chalav that's in the keva. Okay. Continues the Mechaber. And I'm going back to the beginning and then just to continue the flow. And now you take salt and you go ahead and you're going to salt the milk that's found in the keva with the or hakeva itself. Or you added 24 hours, meis leis, and therefore that's called kavush, another type of quote-unquote cooking, midrabanan at least, asalahamid bo. That which was produced from that salting or from leaving it there for 24 hours, you're not allowed to use those enzymes as a catalyst. Lahamid bo means as to solidify or use it as a catalyst. Okay, the Mechaber is going to tell me what happens if you went ahead and did that anyway, but let's look at the Taz in Ches. Shenimlach b'kevasa, hashir sheyisha b'mlicha lechashiv kuroseach. What's the amount of time that it should remain salted, that it should be considered roseach, like you used heat, like a bishul? Hu kashir sheyitno ala eish v'yaskil harsiach. The amount of time it would take to put something onto the fire and it would boil up. Muvor b'simin samech tes, if yudches, we think that's about 6 minutes. V'tzarach shehei nimlach kol kach, and it should be salted, the amount, meaning not only the amount of time needs to be like 6 minutes, but the amount of salt needs to be used. If you sprinkle a little bit of salt, it's still edible, the keva. But if you sprinkle enough salt that you can't eat it, right, because it's too salty, right, that's the halacha in Sif Sadik and Siman Sadik Aleph, which we'll see Sif Hey. It needs to be the amount of salt that you use that you can't stand eating it. Let's see the shach. He says similarly, Shenimlach b'kevasa. The shach is Sifkat and Chav Zayin on page Reish Mem Dalet in the Mareches HaShulchan. If you don't all have it, let Shlomo know. He'll make a copy and put it on the chat. Sifkat and Chav Ches in the shach. Shenimlach b'kevasa. Hashir shetzarach yishav b'milchasav k'dei sheyeh chashiv kiroseach. Exactly like the Taz v'yesor. Because then it would receive, when it's salted, it's going to receive the tam from the wall of the keva. Okay, the amount of time you put on a fire and it takes to boil something. I ran through that. Those are the exact words of the Taz. Continues the shach. Avol pachas mishir zeh. If it's less than that, afilu lo nimlach rak ma'at keder shemochem litzli. Even if it's only a little bit of sprinkling, like they normally do when they try to roast something, eino nesar afle didon the kaimenon lesar miyad b'mlicha. Even those who hold that malicha occurs right away, but if it's so little of the amount of salt that you put on, you're not going to make it aser. Kivin shekan belav hachi, because without this issue of having so little salt, now the issue is you shouldn't aser it because there's so little salt. Kivin shekan belav hachi, without that extenuating circumstance that you have a very little amount of salt. Harbe poskim chashvile kipir shabalma. This, which whatever comes out of the or hakeva, the wall of the keva, the skin of the keva, they considered perish balma, just something which is waste, aflitzlul, even if it's liquid. So there are many who hold like that. So here we're not going to be machmir if you didn't use a lot of salt. V'gamu asarak min rabbanan, we're going to be mekel. The midaraisa in esar ayidei melicha ela derech bishul, because midaraisa you wouldn't aser through melicha, except if it's derech bishul. Achen yesh lahatir kan b'diavad. Therefore, b'diavad, right? You don't have to worry about it, which is what he said a minute ago. Let's let's say you use less time. You use less time that it takes, to less than 6 minutes that it takes, let's say, to boil something, right? And now, so if then you don't have to worry that if you take this solidified or this what's the word, this solidified milk, which you can want to use as a catalyst to make cheese in other milk, if it was put into the lechatchila, you shouldn't do it, but b'diavad, if you did it, you used it, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, very good. Continues the Shach in Chav Ches. This is on the Mechaber that says, it was there for 24 hours. O Shomed Bo Yom Echad, Perish Me'es Leis Aser Dahavi Kavish. That means from Eis Leis means 24 full hours, which is called Kavish. Fine. Continue. Aser Lahamid is what the Mechaber said. The Taz says Aser Lahamid Bo, Perish Lo Yitin Mosech Cholav Shenimlach Bekeva, O Hu Amod Bo Yom Echad. If this is milk that was nimlach with the keva, right? I mean, you slaughter the animal. You take, I should have mentioned how you do it exactly. You cut up the animal and you take the keva itself, and now you're going to go ahead and salt the keva, and it has milk in it, and that milk now becomes more of becomes a little bit solidified, and you want to take that congealed milk, right, and use it as an enzyme to make cheese by throwing it into other milk, right? L'cholav acher b'shvil yakfi or yikafe, until it becomes, so it should congeal. Lastus menegvinos, that would be aser, says the Mechaber. Okay. Chaf tes in the Shach. Aser lahamid bov the ein chilik bazeh ben karsh l'tzol. If in this situation there's no difference, says the Mechaber, whether the resulting milk that was in the or hakeva that you now salted, or you left that milk there and it became 24 hours in the or hakeva, right, hanging in your storefront or in the back of your store, right? Even if it's solul, if it is still liquid, or even if it's congealed, either way, the lechatchila aser afilu bekarish lahamid bo gvinos. Lechatchila, you're not allowed to do it. We'll see b'diavad what happens if you do it. There's a difference if it's liquid or if it's hardened. And the fact that it's mutter to cook with this karush, this congealed milk, lechatchila, hainu the karush chashuv kiparish, because karush is considered waste, parish. Mashain kan, but here the after chashuv kiparish, even though it has a din in parish, Mikol Makom, nevertheless, Kivin the Nimlach Osha Meis Leis Bekeva, right? Alkin Kibla Tam Basar Meor Hakeva, Lachain Asal Lechatchila Lahamid Bo Gavinos. That's why it's us. So what's the distinction? Taking this karush liquid that has not been salted with the meat of the wall of the keva, or it hasn't sat there for 24 hours with the meat of the keva. It doesn't have the tam of the meat, and therefore that karush, that congealed cheese, has enzymes in it that you can use lechatchila to cook with milk, and you wouldn't have any problem. But in our situation, we have now tam. We're worried that there's tam basar that came from it being salted with the or hakeva, and there's also the or being 24 hours in the or hakeva, and therefore we're not allowed to use it lechatchila. Miu b'diavad, continues the Shach. Das mechaber beis Yosef hatir b'chol inyan. Ramah sover, the mechaber says you could use it, the karush, davar karush. But Ramah sover zafke b'tzololo ser mishum deina keparush avul b'karush yesh hatir b'diavad. Okay. That the Beis Yosef is matir. I think the Beis Yosef doesn't make a chiluk between solol and karush, and the Ramah makes a distinction between whether that which is salted in the or hakeva, or it's left there 24 hours, and it might have had the tam basar in it. The Ramah makes a distinction whether it is solol, which is liquid, or it is karush, it is solidified. And let's read that Ramah. V'haga vim hamid bo, meaning you went ahead and you used this milk that was in the Or, there was nimlach with the Or HaKeva, or it was 24 hours in the Or HaKeva, and now you take it and you want to use it to make as a catalyst to make cheese. Imhut solol oser kol agvinos. What you've done, everything becomes aser if it's liquidy, if it's in liquid form, that catalyst milk from the Or HaKeva, and it's aser ad shehei shishim b'cholav shemid neged HaKeva asura, until you put it into such a big vat of milk, right, to make cheese, that it's 60 times the amount that you put in. So if you put in a fistful of liquid, like say 8 ounces of liquid cholav in the keva, nimlach in the keva, and you put it into a vat of, let's say, 35 pounds, that would be fine, because that's more than shishim and there's no tam. Again, the tam was the problem. If everything, if you had shishim, everything is mutter. Okay, let's continue in the Ramah. If the milk in the keva, just says hakeva, but it means the milk in the keva. If the milk in the keva was karosh, eino seres klum, it's not considered, it doesn't have the tam of the basar in order to impart that into the cheese when you're going to use it to make cheese. Even if you don't have 60 keneged the milk of the keva that's been congealed, right? You don't have a problem. So now you have the Or HaKeva. You salted it with milk inside, and it became congealed. Or it was 24 hours inside the Or HaKeva, and it's congealed. And it's not liquidy at all. You take that congealed piece, and you throw it into a big vat to create a catalyst of making cheese. It's mutter because it is karosh. And you don't need shishim kenegdo. Continues the Ramah on the top end, last end of the line, on the first line of Reish Mem Vav. Right? What if the milk in the keva was liquidy, and then it became karosh? Yesh lo din solol, he holds it as a din solol. Yesh mekilim bazeh uvemakom hefsed yesh lo hakel. Some say it is, he holds it's a din of solol. It started out in liquid form, so in liquid form it is now, meaning when you start salting it, is it had any liquid at all? And if it did, then it received some tam of the meat in it as you salted it. If it was already solid before you salted it, because it was left in there for, let's say, 4 or 10 hours, not 24 hours, in the Or HaKeva, and now it becomes solid, right? There wasn't as much liquid in it, and it becomes solid. And then it was nimlach. We don't say that the tam of Or HaKeva comes into this piece of this coagulated piece of cheese. But if it had started out as liquid, then yesh lo din sol, even though later on it becomes solidified, and now all you're putting into the milk to create cheese as a catalyst, all you're putting in is solidified milk. It's not real liquid milk, but it started out in liquid milk inside the keva when it was nimlach. Then it has a din of solol, and you shouldn't use it. He says there are those who are makil, and b'makom hefsid yesh hakil. If there's a major loss that's going to happen, you can be makil. Let's look at, we're going to skip the Taz and Yud. Let's look at the Taz and Yud Aleph. Vimhaisa Akeva, back on page Reish Mem Vav. Vimhaisa Akeva Krusha Eina Seres, Hatam Deno Seres, Mishum, to Pirsha Balmahi. Okay, because when it's Karush, it's called Pirsha Bal. Okay. The Yesh Lahakshos. I want to ask a question. The Alkol Panim. Nevertheless, yes, or Mishum Tam Basar Shenivla Boso Pirsha Tainu Acholav. You've now salted it with the Or HaKeva. Isn't the Tam Basar and the Or HaKeva going to now go ahead and be imparted into this congealed piece of milky stuff? That would be nosin tam benosin tam lehetera. Klomar hacholov hakorosh kibel tam basar me'akeva. The korosh, it's a piece of korosh, and when you salt it, the tam of basar now might go into the korosh, right? V'akach nosin tam begevinos. Then the coagulated cheese is now being salted with the Or HaKeva. That allows the meat taste of the Or HaKeva to go into this coagulated piece of like a catalyst, like rennet, let's say. We'll call it that. It's no longer milk, but it's like coagulated. It's congealed, I'm sorry. So there's tam basar in it. That's nosing tam 1, and then you're taking that and putting it into a milk vat. You're thinking that the tam basar that's in the congealed rennet is now going to put tam into the milk. That's called nosin tam b'nosin tam lehetera, because everything is mutter here. No isur, no treif here. Like dugim that were put on a treif plate, according to Shmuel. The Ramah and Darchei Moshe, which is commentary on the Torah, argues with this. The lo havinot kinosin tam bernosin tam below dami klal dugim sholo bikara. We saw this, I believe, in the Beit Yosef when we learned it in the previous Shiur. The hasam dugim lo kibul tam in basar atzmo. There, the dugim didn't get the tam from the basar itself. The plate had the tam treif in it, and then it imparted that into the dugim. So it's a two-stage step. That's no sintam ber no sintam. Elo min hakara shekiblo tam min basar. The plate got tam from the basar, and then imparted that taste of basar was now from the plate into the dug. Babi no sintam no sintam. La afuke kan, to exclude what we had here. Shekibel hacholav tam min hakeva, directly from the meat. Havi kitam rishon. Right, so it's not nosin tam but nosin tam. This we read I believe we read this in the Beit Yosef. Eliyesh l'tarish the gam tam basar hanivlo b'cholav habi kapir shabalmo. We want to say that the tam basar, the reason to be makil is that the tam basar that comes out of the Or HaKeva also is called pirsha ba'alma. That may be how you can learn the piece of the Gemara that way as well, that when the Gemara says it's pirsha ba'alma, it refers to the tam of that basar from the Or HaKeva as well, and therefore that's why you could be makel in this scenario. Let me read to you the shach in Lamed Aleph, and Lamed Bet. Okay. Sifkat and Lamed is, you need shishim. Keneged the shishim b'chalav, in the milk that you're now trying to create into cheese. The second vat, you have the Or HaKeva and you have the rennet. Now you're taking that was salted with the Or HaKeva. Now you're taking that rennet and you're going to use it in a different vat. Perush, when is it mutter? When is it aser? Ad shehei samach, until there's 60 times. Anything less than that, shehemid b'chalav shehemid, to the chalav that you are now trying to harden. V'nasu gevinos neged hachalav shahaya bekeva shenesra bekeva b'shum basa v'chalav, and the gevina that you're making, if it's not 60 times of what you threw in from the rennet, from the chalav hakeva, it would be basa v'chalav. V'kashliya my sagi b'samach. Why is 60 enough? Hareya hacholov kan davar hamaimid. The Shach asks a very good question. The rennet is a davar hamaimid. It helps to solidify and harden the milk. So even if you have 100 times the rennet itself is a davar hamaimid. The kaimlon the davar hamaimid afilu be'elav lo batal. Right? Even 100 times you can't be batal. 1,000 times. So it's a good kasha. So answers the Shach. Yishlom dedavka davar hamaimid she'aser me'atzmo mamish kigo nevela hu de'eno batal. If it's aser on its own, the rennet isn't aser on its own. It got iser tam iser for somewhere else. Ma she'inking hocha she'ena hamaimid aser me'atzmo. The rennet is not, again, the chalav from the Or HaKeva doesn't become aser on its own. Elaydi taruvas basar v'chalav. Only in its being salted together with the Or HaKeva and the mixture of tam basar in it. Lochein batel shaper b'shishim. Shishim is very shayach, and you'll see in davar hamaimid that there is that exclusion. How did it become a davar hamaimid of aser? Right? Va'afilu im timtzi lomar. And even if you say the basar v'chalav mamash shenesar al yedei bishul chashuv kegufo shel iser, even if you're going to say that it is basar v'chalav mamash when you cook them together, and it's considered like gufo shel iser, right? Here, even if you would hold that in a regular bishul case, it's shayach to call it Chaticha Nasan Avela, because Basar V'Cholov, it's Kegufo She'isser, and therefore Chanan, like we talked, there's a machlokes about that, which we'll learn more about later on as well. But here, that's only by Bishul, because that's a Deoraisa. But here, it's only a Bishul D'Rabbanon of Melicha or Kavish. So Sfira Leil Ramah, Delo Chashiv Kegufo She'isser. The Ramah holds, that's why he's Mekel here, if there's 60 times, because it's not considered Gufo Shalisser, Sheyes or B'maimid B'kolshu, that he should be Usser when you use a Davra Maimid, Elasagi B'shishim, right? The Kolshu shouldn't make it Usser. If you have 60, it is enough. Okay, my purpose of going through all of this is really to give you an understanding of the Mechaber Ramah and be able to read the Shach and the Taz. And then when we talk, when we have a get-together on Zoom, you can expand and ask more kashas, because I want you to be able to read these well, to understand it, and then review it. Review the Mechaber and the Ramah and the Shach and Taz and get it clear in your head, and then any kashas that you have, we can address. Continues the Shach and Lamed Aleph. Im hoya keva krusha, if the keva was solid, right, meaning congealed. Perush im hoya cholov shebekeva karush, the milk that was in the keva had become karush. Eina oser klum. Afilu lohaya samach b'cholov. Page Reish Mem Vav in Rechaz HaShulchan. Shehem in neged hacholov b'shukeva without 60. V'atam the bekarush chashiv hacholov keparish v'tinof. It's considered like waste and garbage. Ve'in lomar d'mikol makam yesem mishum shekibel hacholov tam baser me'or hakeva. Again, the same kasha we had in the Taz. Don't say, it received tam basar from the Or HaKeva. V'akach nosin tam gevinos, then it's going to give the tam to the gevinos. The shiny hacha. This is different. She'ein koach b'poresh. That which is considered waste. Shekibel tam basar me'or HaKeva. It's not possible. The Shach gives a little bit of a different teretz. It's not possible for that which is called waste. It's no longer food, which we saw in last year. Something is waste when it's no longer, it doesn't have a din ochel. It can't be makabel tam basar from the Or HaKeva in order laholech zeh hatam imo, to carry or walk with this taste, lechaber oso im chalav hagvina, to now connect it and bond it with Or Hagvina, with the chalav hagvina in the second vat. So therefore what he's saying is, don't think there's a problem. If it's already karosh, it has din. It doesn't have a din ochel. If it's tzolul, it's liquid, it's milk, and it has a din ochel. If it's karush, it is no longer a din ochel. It's called parush, like the Gemara says, parush ba'alma, and therefore you have no issue of receiving tam in order to transmit tam to the milk that it's going to now turn into cheese. V'lohavi klal nosin tam b'nosin tam lehetera. The kivin shekibel hacholov tam me'akeva have kitam rishon. V'lo dami l'dagim she'olu b'ka'ara b'reishim and tzadihei. Says the same thing as the Taz here. Davi nat barnat. The hasam adagim lo kilbu tam min abasar atzmo. There, the case of dog is so different. That's not barnat, where he didn't receive the tam basar, the dagim, from the meat itself. Ela min ha'ka'ara she'kiblo tam min abasar. Elakan hatamhu t'kivin she'u parish kabar. He wants to say the reason is because it is totally, that's what the Taz ends up as well, right? That it's parish gomor, and therefore, ein bekocho laholich hatam, it doesn't have the koach, the ability, because it's not, it's like waste. It's not food. It doesn't have the ability to transmit that tam to the next thing. The gara minat not barnat shemolech hatam, and it's worse than a not barnat situation, which has the power to go and transmit it to something else. And we said not barnat is a problem and usur if it is transmitting us isur, not barnat the isura. Okay. I'm going to skip the Shach in Lamed Beis. And let's finish up the Ramah. Okay? The last word on Daf Reish Mem Vav is the word Or. Or Hakeva. Lifamim molchen oso. The Or Hakeva, sometimes you salt it. Umiyabshin oso. And you salt it so much and you dry it out. V'nasa ke'etz. It becomes wood. There's no milk in it now anymore. We just have the Or HaKeva. And you salt it so much that the Or HaKeva might have inside the wall of the meat. It might have this property of the of the enzyme, right? The liquid enzyme, right? Mutter. Right? You are miyabish it and you make it into wood and you fill it up with so now you have it dried out, salted and dried out. And now you're going to put milk into it. Right? Mutter. The miyachashin is yabesh havike eitz ba'almo. Since it's totally dried out, it's like eitz ba'almo, like just wood. Vein bo lachluches basar. It has no moisture of the basar at all. Says the Shach in Lamed Gimel, or Hakeva Lefamim, Vuadin Shor B'nei Me'ayim. Other intestines of the animal also. Kishem Yabshin also, Achinasa Ke'etz, when they dry it until it becomes like wood, Mikol Makam Niro de Lechatchila in Lasos Kain. It's still mutter to do, but Lechatchila you should not do it. Okay? Look at Mem Vav, Sifkat and Mem Vav. You see on the notes on the bottom, if you turn to page Reish Mem Zayin, Kishem Yabshin Osan Ad Shenase Ke'etz, Mem Vav. Avol Bebishel Yesh Leso de Misrachek V'Nosin Tam. If you go ahead, if you just store milk in it, that's fine. But if you go ahead and take this hardened, in any of the internal organs of the animal that have been hardened, and then you cook it, so you're gonna misrachech, it's gonna become soft, and therefore it can be no sintam. Also, if you soak it from even not in hot things, you should be machmir because now the tam can come out. This is specifically when you did malicha, not through any other process of either cooking or me'es la'es. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a review, right? We said, why don't we worry that the meat taste in the korosh milk will aser the cheese that now we're putting the korosh milk into the vat, right? Right, because it absorbed the meat taste, right? And then the meat taste now goes into the milk, etc. Should be aser if there's no, isn't 60. So why don't we have the din of narpanati surah? So the Taz and the Bir Agra also, I didn't mention the Bir Agra before. Answers the meat taste in the chol of korosh is pirsha ba'alma. And that is also the answer of the Mordechai, which is many hundreds of years ago. It's one of the Rishonim. The Shach brings the Beis Yosef that explains further that Chol of Korosh weakens the absorbed meat taste and therefore will not give taste into the milk. So halach l'maisa, if you have Cholov Tzolul, liquid milk, acquired meat taste through salting or pickling, right, in the orakeva, then it's also to use to make cheese, like the Ramah says. If you used it according to the Mechaber, it's mutter even without 60. Min also lechatchila, the Mechaber says if it was used even without 60, it's mutter, and the Ramah says you need 60 because there's tam basar in that, and etc. The Shach explains why 60 helps, right? It's a Davra Maimed, and he says a Maimed is not bottle. The Davra Maimed is not bottle. That rule only applies to Isser Machmas Atzmo. It has inherent Isser, as opposed to Isser Balua, meaning that the Isser that it has is because it absorbed milk, absorbed meat taste, and it's absorbed, and therefore and now it's used as a Maimed. It's not going to be considered bottle, never bottle. It's going to be bottle b'shisha. However, our case is also Basar B'chala of Durabanan. So it was only salted and pickled. It was not cooked, which would make it only a rabbinic cooking. And we don't consider Basar B'chala of Durabanan and Isser Machmas Atzma. Very good. Then we talk about Tzolul and Korosh. The Shach explained that although without Hefsid Meruba, the Ramah is what? The Ramah is Machmir, right? I'm saying. So the Shach says, although the Mechaber the Ramah is Machmir without a Hefsid, even if it was originally Korosh, nonetheless we can be Mekel by Tzolul that became Korosh in a Hefsid Meruba. Okay, that is the Ramah and the Shach. We didn't do that Shach inside Shach Lamed Beis. But let me just give you a little bit further on that. The Shach also tells us that not only do we allow by a Hefsid by pickled and salted basar v'chalav, which is only drabanan, but also if a behemoth tahora suckled from a treifa, which is a suffix doraisa. Okay, so that means once the milk enters the stomach of the behemoth tahora and becomes pir shabalma, it's mutter, right? It doesn't matter that the milk came from a treifa, right? Our only question is when does it become pirsha, right? So here, like this, we saw that in the psak, in the halacha, right? Rabbeinu Tam, Rashi, and the Rif in the Gemara, that once it suckles from a treif animal, it in the keva, in the stomach, it becomes pirsha ba'alma. The question would be, when does it become pirsha ba'alma? The Rif says right away it's pirsha ba'alma, right? Others would argue that it's not right away. So if the milk found in the keva Torah was tolol at first and then became korush, the cheese made with it is mutter behefsid meruba, which means if there's an extending circumstance, the vat you put it in, right, is huge and you're going to lose a lot of money, then it would be mutter behefsid, right? The Sif Seidah Supreme Gaonim explains that this is based on the Svek Sveika. Why? Because maybe the halacha is like those who hold that tolol is mutter, and even if you don't permit tolol, like the Ramah who says it's asur, then maybe tolol that becomes korush has a din of korush, and therefore it would be mutter. Now, even though there's a svek sveika, so you should be able to be mutter, matir, the dover korush, that it was tolol first and became korush, and then use it, we only say that it's allowable behefsid meruba. The halacha of dried like wood, so the Shach says that even if the ora keva is as dry as wood, it shouldn't be used lechatchila to make cheese. The Pischei Tshuva brings a Rekiv Eger that permits making cheese out of dried or hakeva lechatchila if there's shishim kenegdo, which means that you take the or hakeva and now you want to put it into something to make cheese. You're into a big vat of milk to make it into cheese. If there's shishim keneged, the amount of or hakeva you use, it would be mutter according to Pischei Tshuva, right? Now, I want to bring you another idea. There's a halacha, ein mevatlin isser lechatchila. You can't intentionally negate an isser. So here, you're negating the isser you might be negating the isser by putting into something that has shishim. If you hold that there's an isser in this or hakeva, because the chatchila you shouldn't, some people hold you shouldn't use it. Since it's a suffix in this case, if there's any meat juice at all left in this or hakeva, which was salted and dried like wood, so there's a suffix if there's any meat tam or meat juice in it, and his intention is to make cheese and not to be mavato the isser, it is mutter, which means that you can't go ahead and if, let's say, milk falls into your gravy, that you drops of milk fell into your gravy of meat gravy. So there's not a lot of gravy, there's just a little bit of milk. So you can't go ahead and pour more water or more gravy to be mevatel the milk. That's called mevatel isser lechatchila. Here, it's a suffix whether there's any isser here at all because it's dried like wood, and therefore it may not be asur at all. Okay, I see we are at the 43-minute point. I want to do halacha yud aleph. It might be a little bit too. All right, let's do it. It's not so long. Halacha yud aleph says, "Im hemid gvina bor kevas kshera." You take you take. I want to get the wording 100%. Okay, sorry about that. All right, imhamid gvina beor kevas kshera. Right? You went ahead and you hamid gvina, so you're curdling cheese in the skin of a kosher animal. Right? Yesh bo tam basar asura. If it has tam basar, it would be asur. Vimla muteres. But if not, it is mutter. We say tam again. What does that mean? Look at the Taz says. Hamid gvina bor perishanasam chatichas or b'chalav. You take a piece of meat and put it into the milk. Im yesh gvina tam basar asura v'imlav muteres kedisa b'mishnah l'chulin kuf tezayin. The Shach says in Sivkat and Lamed Daled, yesh bo tam basar perish hagvina asura kol sheyesh bo tam basar. If the gvina has any taste of basar in it, it is asur. Klomar shein begvina shishim neged or. You don't have 60, which is going to nullify the tam. Why did the Mechaber write that specifically? Right? Umash lo kasav Mechaber lahedya quote yemein begvina shishim neged or. Why didn't he write that? Right? Why did he write the language of yesh botam ein botam? Shum da Mechaber l'shitasa b'reish simin tzadiches. We'll see later in Siman Tzadiches, the Mechaber himself, his opinion is the Samchina Matim as Goy. You can ask a guy to taste your food to see if it has Mesiach Levitumo. If he just naturally tells you it has a taste of meat in it, then you know. L'chein Kosav Kanstam Yesh Botam Basar. Avaladidan, but for us who don't rely on that, the Kaimalon, the Lo Samchina Ha'idna Ati Imas Goy. We're not relying on the taste of a guy. We always use 60. Okay, so here we go. The beginning says like this: Your mamid gavina beor kevas kshera. You slaughtered an animal, and now you take you cut up the animal. You take a piece of the or hakeva, the fourth stomach, and you put it into milk in order to its enzymes should coagulate and create cheese. If it's not no sintam, it's aser. In no sintam, it's mutter. Continues the Mechaber. Aval hamamid bor kevas nevela utreifo behema tameya oser b'chol shehu. We're not talking about any tam. It's aser right away. And what is and the Ramah says Hagah mishum the davra aser ba'atzmo umamid. That's what we just said. The nevela is aser ba'atzmo. Therefore, we said it's a davar hamaimin. A davar hamaimin is not batel, even with 1,000. And the or kevas nevela it itself is aser, and that's which is giving tam to the it's not going to be batel. V'davke shlo yisham mamid acher raka aser, and this applies where there isn't a secondary davar hamaimid, right? Aval hayasham gamkein maimid heter. Like you put mutter the karenet in there as well. Havi zev is zagorim and mutter. It's considered zev is zagorim and it's mutter. I'll explain that in a few minutes. Mika shishim neged ha'isr. Which means that if the treif, the nevela, the catalyst in the or kevas nevela was not the sole reason it started to coagulate and congeal and make it into cheese, and there was a majority of something else that was in it that gave the power to do that, then it was considered zev is agorem and it's mutter. There are two things playing a role here, and it would be mutter. Let's go back to the beginning of this, back to the Shach. The Shach says, Haval hamamid bor kevas nevela hachilik bozeh. Hachilik bozeh kosva poskim de or kevas kshera me'achar v'hu mutter b'fnei atzmo. Since the or kevas kshera, it's a kosher animal, it's mutter itself to be consumed. Vein bo iser el mishum chiburo im gevina, and the only iser it comes because now it's going to have some connection to the gevina, and therefore it's a bas v'chalav connection. Hilkach kol kamid lo nosing tam, if it's no nesinas tam, la basar b'chalavu, it's not considered bas v'chalav. Aval or nevela chiyotzebo or nevela or treifor behemoth tameya sha'aser machmas atzmo. Again, it's a kosher cow that has been slaughtered improperly, so now it becomes a nevela. Or it's a treifa, it was never slaughtered properly. I'm sorry, it was killed by some. It had treif in it, meaning it had simone treifus in it. Because let's say they opened it up, they shechted it properly, they opened it up, and the lung had a hole in it. Or it's behemoth tamea like a horse or a camel, right? Which are aser machmas atzmo lochein mekiven shumaimid. Since this is what it's doing, it's a davar hamaimid, the or hakeva, the piece of meat that you took from this animal, this treif, this nevela animal, and you're using it to solidify cheese. Fil b'elef lo batel. Udaloka Marshal, says the Shach, this is not like the Shitas of Marshal. Again, the Marshal is a Yam Shel Shlomo. Shepasak dafilu perakol basar, there in Chulin, in his Sefer Yam Shel Shlomo. Shepasak dafilu hamaimid b'or kevas nevela batal b'shishim. Something which is maimid b'or kevas nevela can be batal b'shishim. He is mekel, and we would not be not. Before I read to you the next Taz and Shach about Zev Zegorim, let me give you what the opinions are. The Mordechai holds that if you use an Isser Maimid exclusively, then the cheese is Asr even with a Mashu. However, if you put Heter along with the Isser, right, it is a case of Zev Zegorim. Therefore, meaning Zeh, the kosher Dovra Maimid, and the treif Zeh Dovra Maimid is Gorem, causes, Gorem means causes the congealing, the cheese making. Therefore, we can say that the Heter Maimid helped make the cheese, and we're only concerned with negating the taste of the Isser Maimid. Therefore, Shishim could work. The Ramah matters the cheese in the case of Zev Gorim as long as they're 60, right? The Taz that I'll read for you in a minute infers from the Ramah that he holds that the din of Zev Gorim, even if there was enough Isser to make the cheese without help of the Heter, that means you have 40% you have a coagulant or the Dovra Maimid. You have 40%, and let's say you need 30% of it needs to let's say, let me do an ounce. As you need a amount of a of a catalyst, you need a pound of it in order to make this whole vat into cheese. Even if you have a pound of this or kevas nevela, and it could do it on its own, if it has something else mixed in with it, according to the Taz, he says the Ramah is mekel in that case, right? Without the help, right? And even if there was enough Isser to make the cheese without the help of the Heter, right? The Taz and the Shach both disagree that this is the Mordechai's view. They disagree. They hold that Zev Zegorim only helps us to permit if the Isser cannot make the cheese without the Heter. So they're going to argue with this idea, and therefore, if there's so much Isser of the catalyst of Ramaimid, then even if you added something else, it wouldn't help. However, if the Isser can make the cheese without the help of the Heter, the Taz disagrees with the Ramah and holds that it has a din of Dovra Maimid, and you can't use 60 Kenegdo. The Shach leaves it as a Tzarachian, something we need to look into, and let's look at that in the Taz and the Shach. Again, reading the Ramah again, three lines from the end. V'dafka shlo haya sham mamid acher, a different Dovra Maimid, rak ha'isr, just the treif one from the Kevas Nevela. Avlam haya sham gam kein Maimid heter, have zev gorem umutar. If you had two of them, one heter, one isser, it's called zev gorem. Each one is part. Imika shishim neged also would be mutter if there was 60. Says the Taz. V'nira hadamrinan zev gorem in the Ramah hainu dafka be'inyan she'ein be'isser l'chud kedei l'chametz ela b'siyua ha'heter. Aval kisheyesh be'isser l'chud kedei l'chametz. Again, this is not the Ramah. I apologize. This is his opinion. If there is enough amount in the isser to do it on its own, kedei l'chametz, to make it into cheese, asar af she'heter misayeya, even if though the heter helps. Vein zeh b'chlal zeh v'zeh gorem, that's not considered zeh v'zeh gorem. Kida kosva tosasham daf samaches diramaskel ula rav Shimon. The Shach will say similarly, aval amaymid bor kevas nevela. I'm sorry, lamid vav, the last Shach. Aval hoya sham gam kein maymid nira didavka kishe'ein ha'isser yochel lahamid levado. Specifically, when the isser can't do the job on its own, below sheyisayenu haheter, without the heter helping it, then it's called zev gorem. It needed the help of that which is heter, and it's not considered aser if there was shishim. Have zev gorem umutar kol sheyesh shishim neged isser. Avlam yesh be'isser levad kedei lahamid. But if the isser itself has enough to accomplish it, lo mahani mashi mitzayeh lo haheter va'aser. It's not enough that the heter now helps it along, makes it happen faster, and it's aser. V'ledina tzarachin and ledin. If you ended up doing it, you have to see what the halal. There's tzarach in whether to be aser it or not. Okay, we're going to stop here, and I'll send you some review questions, and then hopefully this week we'll have a shiur to discuss these inyanim. Thank you.